What's up, YouTube? It's Jeff Tuffner here on the Glorious Podcast, and January just continues to get better for us wrestling fans. Who would have thought we'd wake up today to find out that Chris Jericho is going to take on Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 12 in January, on January 4th to be specific. That is the last thing I expected to wake up to see today. We've seen on Twitter the past 2 weeks they've been going back and forth. Obviously, it was, they were just playing around, getting the fans talking and stuff, but who would have thought a match were to have come out of this? I mean, Jesus. I did not see this coming. This is I woke up, I couldn't believe it at first. I thought it was just a joke. I was like, oh, probably just joking around now about a match. And then all of a sudden, I saw the pinned tweet on the New Japan's official Twitter account, and I'm like, holy shit, it's actually happening. They're really doing this match at Wrestle Kingdom, the biggest event. That's New Japan's WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom, January 4th. I'm definitely going to have to stay up for that one, get New Japan World to watch it, because this is insane. I mean, wrestling is just, January is shaping up to be an amazing month for wrestling. I mean, it was just announced about a few days, last week I think it was, that, we got the Raw 25th anniversary, we already have the Royal Rumble, and now in New Japan we have Chris Jericho taking on Kenny Omega in a showdown, a dream match, some might say. This is amazing. It's amazing. I mean, I wonder how Vince McMahon feels about this. It's weird because Jericho, he must not be under contract or whatever with WWE. He must just come in whenever he feels like it almost. I mean, deservingly well, because he's Chris Jericho. He's to be honest, he's probably my favorite wrestler of all time. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've always been a big fan of Chris Jericho ever since I started watching wrestling, especially the past few years. He's been great his entire career, but some might say his recent run in WWE was one of his best runs ever in his entire career. So, he's been in WWE for almost 15 years now. So, now he's gonna go do something else. New Japan, probably just a match, a one night deal almost. I don't think he's gonna come back full time or whatever and be in New Japan almost every week or whatever. But probably a one match deal, match with Kenny Omega, match everybody wants to see. It should be amazing. It's just, I did not see it happening. I saw them. I saw them in past weeks going back and forth on Twitter, and I was like, "Oh, this is funny and all." But I was thinking, I'm back in my mind. I'm like, "Yeah, can you imagine a match between these two?" And then the next thing you know, a match is gonna happen. It's just, I don't know. It's really cool. It really is. Wrestling's getting better. It's getting better at least in other companies. Not so much over in WWE. It continues to get worse over there. I'm not even gonna get into that right now, but at least New Japan's doing something entertaining. They've always been doing something entertaining. WWE needs to maybe take notes from New Japan and try to adapt and get a little bit of that style. No wonder, no wonder guys like Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and all those guys, say they're never going to come to WWE. WWE, if WWE ever gets better, maybe they will. But if WWE is going to be the way it is now, the same product we see every Monday night and Tuesday night, then I doubt, I don't see why, if I were Kenny Omega or the Young Bucks or anyone else, why I'd want to come to WWE. NXT, understandable. NXT is amazing. And that's probably what would happen. You'd see a guy like that come to NXT. They'd be great in NXT for about 2 years, 1 year maybe. But then they come up to the main roster, and it's just a train wreck on the main roster. And that style, it's two different worlds almost. In WWE, it's more of the entertainment. In New Japan, it's more of the wrestling. So, if you mix them up together, you get a little bit of the entertainment factor, a little bit of the wrestling factor, you put them together, you should get instant gold. That would be the dream right there. But, of course, that's not going to happen. You can't do that because, unless one adapts, you know what I mean? If one adapts, if, maybe a little more of an entertainment factor is added to New Japan, or more of a better wrestling, more, focusing more on the wrestling, less, entertainment in WWE, the one would get better. I don't have a problem with New Japan being the way it is. I actually think it's fine. They don't really need an entertainment factor. I think it's just, I watch it just for the good wrestling. That's all. I'm not watching on a weekly basis and all, but whenever there's a good match, I usually go back and watch it or whatever. So WWE, though, I do watch on a weekly basis. So, I'd love to see more of a, better wrestling, focus more on the wrestling, less more on these awful storylines, because just look at the TLC pay-per-view in WWE from about, 2 weeks ago or whatever. That pay-per-view proved exactly why storylines are meaningless and wrestling is what needs, that needs to be more of the, the focal point in WWE, because it just showed. You had these last-minute matches made. 48 hours before the show, we get AJ Styles and Finn Balor. This match had no build whatsoever. I talked about it before, how they legit had nothing for this. They had no build at all. They just had this match, threw them together, but it was instant gold. Everybody wanted to see it. It was like a dream match come true out of nowhere. That show just showed it. Like, you didn't need to build anything up, and then that it just saved the show, you know what I mean? Just, all these last-minute changes that you would think would wreck a show and maybe make it worse actually saved the show for WWE, and it just pretty much put them on spot saying, storylines are meaningless. So, I mean, hopefully WWE can maybe figure themselves out, because they need to adapt more to this style these days with wrestling and stuff, because I don't know what it is with them. It's not the same as it once was. It just isn't working. So many people are angry about it. Especially, the diehard fans, the marks and everybody, but, the casual fans, they don't really care, you know what I mean? They probably are enjoying it, you know what I mean? They don't mind it, but, like, people like me and everyone else who are watching on a weekly basis, who love wrestling, they're getting tired of, that's just the nonsense we see maybe every week on Raw and SmackDown, and how it's inconsistent. It's inconsistent. It's not like where it's like a decent show, you know what I mean? It's understandable if, there's 4 episodes of Raw a month, and one episode's kind of bad, but the other 3 episodes are at least half decent episodes. It's vice versa right now. It's, maybe we get lucky and get a half decent episode of Raw, but, the other 3 episodes are awful. It's awful. It's, you don't even have to watch. They wonder why viewership has just taken a huge dip lately in WWE. It's because the shows are just not worthy of watching. You watch a pay-per-view, their pay-per-views have been great. I mean, the last 2, Hell in a Cell, TLC, they were amazing. But the Raw and SmackDowns throughout the month of October were awful. There was like 1 good episode of combined that I I would say, was a must-watch episode. Everything else, you could just watch a segment here, a segment there on YouTube. So, I mean, I don't know. This turned into a completely different video. It was supposed to be about Chris Jericho taking on Kenny Omega, and then I started going off on on WWE's just product. I knew that would happen. It just happens every time, because we're talking about New Japan and how much better that is than WWE right now. And then that always leads to me just going off on WWE and just hoping that it would get better. But I'm not going to go on any longer here, guys. Let me know what you guys think of Kenny Omega taking on Chris Jericho down in the comments section below. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon right here on the Glorious Podcast.